Hi everyone. Um, so I thought I'd switch things up a little bit this week. It's the weekend here. My weekend starts Friday afternoon. And this weekend I do have some pottery things that I need to get done. So I kind of thought, why not switch it up and do like a vlog what I do on the weekend to catch myself up. Kind of the boring, mundane tasks. I've had a few questions of people wanting to see my studio. Um, that's not in order. So maybe if I get it cleaned up and I can share kind of where I work and what I do. But I thought I kind of have some mundane tasks. Like I got reclaim to do. I have some wedging to do to get ready for some throwing. I have a couple orders that I need to make. So I kind of thought, why not take you guys along and show you guys what I do on the weekend as a hobby potter who doesn't make a ton of stuff, but makes enough stuff to be a potter, I guess. But yeah, I just thought show you guys what I do on the weekend and yeah, let you learn a little bit more about me and how my process works. So let's get started, I guess. Also, this is Cash. He is the dog that you hear always tip tapping in the background, right, bud? Yeah. He is never far from my side. He's always here. He's a good boy. But yes, he is the one. Look at his handsome face. He is the one who is always tip tapping about in my videos. So now you guys can put a face to the tip taps. So I don't know about you guys, um, but I hate reclaim. I mean, I love reclaim in the fact that you don't waste anything, but I hate reclaim because it's such a chore. It's not my least favorite thing to do though. I'm gonna say it's my second least favorite thing. Wedging. Wedging. Wedging is my least favorite thing to do, which is also something that I have to do today in preparation for tomorrow when I can throw. I have some reclaim. Mm, I just use kind of whatever buckets I have. I don't have any special buckets for my reclaim. Um, I do have designated buckets for each of my clays, which I can show that to you. But yeah, I just use these little spatulas that I bought. I think these are like jar spatulas for like getting inside the jar, but I find they work really well for clearing out the buckets. So that's what I do. But yeah, let me see if I can change the angle here and I can show you what I'm doing. So basically, all I do, I just mix this up for a little bit and then I get my hands in there. I just kind of get my hands right in there and I do it for about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes because it does take a while to break up all those little chunks. You just got to squish them right through your hands. And I do know that there is definitely an easier way to do it with like a paint mixer and a drill and everything. But my studio is so small that I really don't have any space for any large tools. So I do the best I can in the small space, and maybe one day I'll be able to have a bigger space. But for right now, I gotta just stick with my hands. Okay, so this reclaim is a little bit wetter than I want it to be for when I put it on my drying board. So I'm gonna leave it. Probably, hopefully by tomorrow it'll be dry enough that I can kind of squish it around in there again and then put it on my board. But it's a little bit too wet to put it right now. I don't use plaster drying boards. I use linen, but I'll show you that when I actually do put it down. But I think that's probably going to have to be for tomorrow. So I feel like this is probably going to be kind of like a chaotic video, mostly because that's totally how my brain works. I'm very squirrely. I get started on one thing, I move to another, but I'm going to try my best. Anyway, I need to weigh out some clay. I want to do a video on marbling clay. I don't know if it's still a thing, but I have talked about this before that I have Plainsman chocolate clay, and it's a beautiful clay. It's beautiful, but I hate it. I hate using it, and I shouldn't say I hate it. I don't hate it. I dislike that it stains everything. I dislike that it's really hard to keep all my other tools clean to use on my other clay. and I can't find any glazes that I like using on it. So my thought is I have an order for one um, larger plant pot with it. So that'll take up the majority of what I have, but I still have quite a bit left. And I don't like to waste because clay is um, really useful in that way. It's really good that you don't really waste any of it. So I don't want to just throw it out because I just don't like it. I'm going to rally through and we're going to make something with it. But I got thinking, why don't I try marbling? Because thumb cups, I really enjoy making those. And I can use the other clay that I don't like when it's plain by itself, but when it's with other clays, it looks really nice. So I thought, why not marble? So that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully I'll be able to throw that tomorrow. So I need to do some wedging. Wedging is my very least favorite thing to do of everything. If you like wedging, why? Why do you like it? If you have an easy way to do it, can you let me know? Can you let me know in the comments? Oh, I legit thought that this maybe would be like mold in here because I have not used this. Oh, it's not even that bad. I haven't used this in so long. I thought it, but see, you just touch it and it just, yeah, I don't like it. We'll wedge that stuff last. Oh, yeah, a little bit of mold. Oh well. Yeah, so like I said, wedging isn't my favorite, but it's definitely 100% necessary, especially with reclaim. And I have a lot of reclaim because I'm really picky about what I use or what I keep or what I fire, and because I don't like to waste. And to me, if it's not something that I'm comfortable with, either trying to sell or post or happy with, or it didn't turn out like I wanted, I don't really want to keep it. And the best part about clay, and obviously the worst because you have to wedge it and reclaim it, but is just the simple fact that you can reuse it. It's amazing that there is little to no waste. And yeah, it's great for that. But the strain on your wrists and your shoulders and your neck, no go. Not my fave. Don't want to do it all the time, but it's totally necessary. But yeah, if you guys have a different way to wedge or you have an easier way to wedge, I do slam wedge every once in a while, but I find that it, yeah, it takes a lot longer to do the slam wedging to get the actual result that I'm looking for with minimal air bubbles, stuff like that. But yeah, so if you guys have a better way to wedge, or an easier way to wedge, or pardon me, you have a better way to get air bubbles out other than a pug mill, because one, I don't have enough space for a pug mill, and two, I definitely can't afford a pug mill. But yeah, if you guys have a better way of wedging, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'm always open to learning. I want to do things the most efficient way possible. Well, for a hobby potter on a small budget. But yeah, if you know a better way to do it, let me know. I want to learn. If there's a video, tag the creator in the just tag the creator in the comments. Let me know. I'll definitely watch their video and take their tips because I'm always open to it. The sweat is real. Ugh. No, I definitely have to switch boards when I want to go and start wedging coffee clay, because as you can see, it literally stains everything. It stains, it's so bad. It's so hard to keep my tools clean. And I know I've said this before and I totally sound like a complainer and I'm fully aware of that. Um, but it's hard enough to keep a studio clean with regular clay, never mind a clay that is dark and leaves stains on literally everything. I've also mentioned this before, it's very beautiful, but there definitely is a price for the beautiful look that it gives. So yeah, it totally stains everything, and I can't wait to be done with it. See, a little bit of mold, but I think we'll be okay. So with these balls of clay, I chose to go with about just over 3 pounds of clay. Some are about 3.5, some are 3.25. And that's a lot of clay. And I was already super tired from wedging the other clay. So I decided to do a little bit of slam wedging, which this clay wasn't, it had already been previously wedged before, so it didn't need as much wedging as the Plainsman 340, but it still needed to be wedged. So by this time, I just slammed it on the table because it was the easiest. But yeah, like I said, if you guys have any other tips for wedging, please leave them in the comments below because I would love to know an easier way to do this. Okay, so that was half an hour of me wedging, and I'm not sure if you can see the sweat on my face, but there is no AC in here, so it is toasty. Tip tapping. At least now you can put a face to the tip taps. Anyway, the only thing left that I really want to get done today is unloading my bisque kiln, but it is a little bit too hot right now. So I'm just going to do other things that don't involve pottery at the moment. And then when it's time to unload, I'll bring you back and I'll show you what's in there. So I definitely mentioned in the beginning, it's going to be mostly mundane tasks. And probably the most important task that I had this weekend was giving my studio a good tidy. I don't know about you guys, but I find that pottery has a lot of chores, but there's lots of rewards in those said chores. Like reclaim, it's a chore, but you get more clay. Wedging, it's definitely a chore, but you have good clay to work with. And the next thing I find is that cleaning up your studio, it's definitely a chore to keep things tidy, to keep things dust free, to keep things organized, especially when you're using multiple different types of clay. But I find that if I can just keep myself on a little bit of a schedule, which is pretty much what I do, like every weekend I give a whole reset to my whole studio, or as best I can anyway. And then every time I use my wheel, I make sure that I clean my wheel really well and I clean the floor around it because my splash pond does leak a little bit. So I have to clean the floor and keep it so that there's the least amount of dust in my space as possible. Plus I also have an air filter in there, so that helps too. But yeah, what do you guys have for tips? Tips on keeping your studio organized, because anything helps. So this bisque kiln turned out really great. No cracks, no problems. I can honestly say I feel like I'm pretty lucky in the fact that I never really have too many problems. And I think it's probably due to the fact that I let my stuff dry for such a long time. Like weeks and weeks, I will let my pieces dry. And my handles, I keep them covered for like weeks while they're drying and while they're meshing together. I have a video about how I attach my handles, and ever since I've done that, I've changed how I do it to how I do it in the video. I have found that I never get a crack. I never get cracks anywhere. And I also think that again has something to do with one, how I attach my handles, and two, how long I let them mesh together before I let them fully dry out. And I definitely think that has something to do with it. But yeah, this bisque was just filled with a bunch of different things. I have a Scott 714 kiln, and it's perfect for me. And before I get a comment about how I have my kiln in my home, it is in a separate room from my studio, or separate room from my home, sorry. And I have taken every precaution. It is on a fireproof mat. We have fire extinguishers. I have an EnviroVent. I have an air scrubber. I have overhead fans, like a roof fan, and I have multiple opening windows in this studio. So, yes, I have taken every single precaution, and the kiln is always monitored while it is running. So there is every single precaution taken while using my little scut kiln. And if you have any questions about it, leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them as best I can. Okay, so it is Saturday at like 4 in the afternoon. I totally underestimated all of the adult things that I had to do this morning, like laundry and dishes and yeah, all the things that are no fun. But they have to get done. But I did go and get the mail this morning, and I have a fun package that I want to open, and I want to show you what is in it. So let's do that. So this, I ordered these from the Clay Warehouse. I think they're in, super cute. Look at that. So cute. I think they're in BC somewhere. Not sponsored, not anything. I purchased these on my own. But I have been waiting to get my hands on these. I can't wait. I'm so excited to try them. I need to make similar like tester pieces, like test towel type things, so that I can really see them before I put them on like a mug or cup or anything. But I'm really excited. So I got just a little thank you card. I got ritual glazes, and I'm so excited. Wow, these are weird. So I got bead yellow, and I got bead red, and then I got crawl turquoise. These are really, like, they really separate. And then crawl slime green. Yeah, I'm super excited to give these a try. I think, like, as far as I understand, I think Mako bought them or like bought the glaze recipes. I'm really not sure, but I remember reading something that Mako was gonna buy them or something. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to try these because I haven't seen many people use them. There's one woman that uses them, Mugworks. She makes beautiful things with them. So she was the first one that I saw that was using them, and I was like, I need to buy these because I am totally addicted to buying glazes. Like it might be a problem. And yeah, she was using them, and the cups that she makes are beautiful. So I thought I want to give that a try. Yeah, I can't wait to try them. I will make a video trying them and testing them, but I do have to make some like test towel type things because right now I don't have any of that. I mean, I have mugs and stuff that I could use, but I have other ideas for those mugs. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that because I will make a video on using these glazes because I think they're really cool. So yeah. Anyway, I am going to get my apron on, I guess. I also want to load another bisque kiln because I do have to fire it again. So I think maybe we'll do that today. And I'm hoping that I get to throw today, but yeah, I don't know. It's looking like I'm probably not going to throw today. It'll probably be throwing tomorrow. So I'm going to check on the reclaim that had to dry out a little bit more, see if it's good enough to spread out so it can dry. Yeah, so I guess I will just continue on with what I got to do. So I made these little strawberry cups and I'm really excited about them, but I am definitely nervous for them to go in the kiln. They got a lot of cracks when they were drying, so I'm just hoping for the best, but we'll see. Same with this tulip mug. I should have painted this with underglaze before I'm firing it, but I've used underglaze like that before, so I think I'm going to just give it a try where I do it after. made one that's a mug. And this one's in Plainsman 340. The other one was in 340S, so the speckle. This one has no speckle. So this one dried a lot better than the other one did. So we'll see how this one turns out. 340 and 340S are super hard to tell apart when they are bisque fired. Definitely tell them apart when they're fully fired or when they're greenware, but bisque fired is super hard to tell them apart. So I usually like to take a picture of them before I fire so that when I pull them out of the kiln, I know exactly what I'm putting in each different area so that when I glaze them, I know what I'm glazing. This seems to be quite a bit better. So I'm just going to give it a good mix. And another squoosh with my hands. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it on my board. Now, I don't use plaster bats. I would like to use plaster bats eventually, but right now I just don't have the time or the space to store them and or make them. So these work really good. It's just a piece of plywood with linen over top, and the linen actually it doesn't stick. The clay doesn't stick to it when it's drying, so it's really easy. It's really easy to do the reclaim, and I don't think in this video it'll be ready because it takes quite a few days for it to dry. But I'll just show you my process. I did mention that it was just a bunch of mundane tasks for the most part that I had to get done this weekend. So, which is the majority of my weekends, is doing all of these no fun tasks when I have the most time. Yeah, this is a pretty easy task. And honestly, all I do is I just make sure that it's as smooth as I can with my hands, and then I just pour it on my board with the cloth on top. And it works great, or it works great for me anyway. It does take a few days to dry, but as long as I can keep like rotating the boards underneath it so it doesn't get like yucky at all, then it works pretty good. And having the spatula definitely helps to make everything even, and it's better for drying it out. Yeah, so that's that. Now I'll just go wash my hands and we'll let this sit and dry. So I did decide to throw today. I have mentioned before that I do have a bat system, but I don't really like using it. You will see why. But right now, all I'm doing is just putting the bat on, and I have to use the suction method. So basically, you just create like a really thin plate, and then you make some rings in it that create the suction for your bat. And yeah, then you just put your bat on it. And it does work when it works. But because most of my bats have a little bit of warp to them, it creates some problems when it comes to throwing. It just makes it a lot more difficult than it needs to be, that's for sure. But yeah, so this amount of clay is the biggest amount of clay that I have ever thrown. I've never thrown with more than, say, like 2.5 pounds, but 3.5 pounds is a lot. Even 3 pounds, it's a lot. And if you have ever thrown this amount of clay, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. 3 pounds sounds like nothing, but it's a lot. It's so heavy. And trying to control it, it's, yeah, it's a lot. Anyway, again, I've also never thrown a plant pot. Yeah, I love flowers. I love all those things. So you'd think I'd want to throw plant pots, but I have never done it. I've never done it before. So when this customer asked if I would do it, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll try it for sure, but I just can't I just can't promise it'll turn out. So yeah, this first one is definitely a huge learning curve for me. As you can see right from the bat, it didn't go well. I didn't compress the rim, which I should have, which caused a problem right at the top, which in turn just created a problem for the whole entire pot. Also, the fact that when I opened my form, I did not compress my walls. So, what I should have done is I should have compressed that top piece, like as you saw as I was pulling, I should have either done it in an angle so that I didn't create that almost like folded over part. I should have done it at an angle, or I should have compressed that piece into the thickness of the walls of the clay. Because it totally created a thin spot, which in turn, when I was pulling, um, created unevenness, which I didn't need to have there because, as you can see, my walls are definitely thick enough except for that one spot. And that one spot caused me grief the whole entire time. And as much as I thought I could fix it, I definitely could not fix this pot. But that is part of pottery. That is part of how the system works. You need to fail at something before you're good at something. And this was definitely a failure. Because it is no good. No good at all. So I just removed this piece from the wheel and I started over. Because if you know, like when you're in the swing of things, when you do pottery, you just got to keep on going. If your body can handle doing it, you got to keep on doing it because lots of times it takes that one bad thing and then you make a good thing. Or sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. But this one, I definitely started off better with this one. It seemed to work out a lot better for me. The ball itself seemed to be smoother and the bat was not working against me. The first one, the bat kind of worked against me. Like I said, another reason why I don't particularly like using them. And I think I've asked this question before, but if you use these types of bats, which is, I believe this is just like MDF, if you use these bats, do you have a way to get them to not be warped or to get them back into the right shape? Because that's the biggest thing that I struggle with is the warping. They work because I know how to stick them to my wheel, but I can't get the warping under control. So if you have any tips for how to get them back to straight, please let me know. And I clean them and I store them straight up. I don't store them flat, and I can't get them back to flat again. So if you have any tips for that, please let me know. So with this one, like I mentioned before, when I opened up my base, I didn't compress the very tops of the walls, which created, I did it in this one again, that little line underneath my rim that's a thin spot. I noticed it and I tried to fix it. So it did cause me a little bit of grief, but I was definitely able to control this one a lot better than the first one. And I was able to fix that said little thin spot. Um, I She's on TikTok, but her account is called Twisted Clay, and she has so many good tips. So I definitely used her tips for either compressing up or down to fix thin spots. And they work each and every time. They work great because, as you can see now, I have fixed my thin spot and I'm not off center. So, um, if I can, I'll try to tag her in the description, or I'll try to put the link to her TikTok in my description. But she makes great videos and she does lots of great things. And if she has a YouTube channel, I'll link that in there because I think she's great. She has really good tutorials on how to throw, how to center, how to fix problems that arise in your pottery. So I will definitely put that in the description if I can find her on YouTube, but I'll try to link her TikTok on as well. But yeah, so this one I had way better luck. I was able to get straight walls. I was able to get even walls and nothing collapsed. So I was much happier with this. And yeah, I have also really learned the importance of compressing with a rib. It helps with air bubbles. It helps with wall evenness and thickness. It helps find thin spots. It helps fix thin spots. and it just makes your piece look that much more professional, finished. It makes trimming easier. There is definitely a little bit of a learning curve, or I had a little bit of a learning curve, just because sometimes it's hard to get the pressures right and stuff like that when you're using it. But yeah, it totally elevates your whole piece. So if you haven't started throwing with a rib, I highly suggest it because it just makes your piece look that much better. And then again, when you do go to trim something, you're compressing the outside, you're burnishing the edges, and you're just making your piece that much nicer when like it's fired. When it's finished, you really notice that difference when you are using a rib. So I did decide to throw a third time just because I had the clay already. So I thought, like I just said before, I'm already in the swing of things. Why not just keep going? And worst case scenario, it doesn't work out. Best case scenario, I have two pots and my job's done and I don't have to worry about it again. Um, but yeah, so this one started off really well. Same as the second one, everything was going well. I was able to pull it open, and because I did learn a little bit more from the first time, I did compress my walls. Now, because I also changed the angle, you can totally see what I mean about compressing. Now, I didn't do a very good job, but I tried. But you'll see right away what I mean about the line right at the top where I should have compressed my walls better. And you can see where it flares out and just creates a problem. That's the problem that I had with each and every pot. I was again able to kind of fix this, but it still creates the problem. So I definitely have to work on that when I'm throwing, if I so choose to make any more large pots, which unfortunately I do have to throw another one, but I will take one out of three pots because, yeah, like I said earlier, I've never thrown large before. So this last one might also be a flop, but I'll take it because practice makes perfect. So I got one pot thrown. I only need one for the order, but I don't know if it's going to actually be big enough or not. So I'm going to have to throw another one. Plus, I want to have a backup just in case anything happens. Um, I really don't want to throw anymore today. Um, all those failures just didn't make me want to do anymore. So you will see me back here tomorrow to throw the marbling stuff that I wanted to throw. So we will be back tomorrow. See you in the morning. Good morning. It is Sunday, and I am definitely a lot more motivated today than I was yesterday. There's just too much stuff going on yesterday. But that's my life, and I guess that's what I kind of dedicated this video for. I'm not gonna be, if I ever do any of these again, which we'll see. I might get better at them. I'm not really sure. I don't want to. I really don't want to show a lot of like my personal life. I need to keep that. I need to keep that for myself. So that kind of stuff is probably going to stay where it is, and it probably won't be on the internet. Just cause. Just cause. But yeah, so I did a couple things yesterday, and I forgot to film them because it just wasn't the day yesterday. So I did cover this pot. I flipped it and covered it. And it's still pretty wet, so I'm going to uncover it for a while. I did wedge up this also. This another ball of clay. This is like I'm going to say like 3.5 pounds of clay. So I'm going to give it one more try this morning. We're going to try to throw another one of those one more time. If I can't do it this time, it's a no-go for me because I hate this. I want to work on something funner. Um, but yeah, so we're going to do one more good, honest try of this. We shall see how that goes. So yeah, like I mentioned, I was definitely a lot more motivated to throw today. I was just in the right mood. For me, it's all about the mood. If I don't feel like throwing, I'm not going to do it well. But anyway, today I definitely did better on compressing my walls before I started pulling. You can still see that there is still that little line that caused me that little bit of grief, but I was definitely able to control this better. I was able to fix it right smartly, and then it just made my throwing so much smoother. Um, yeah, you can see that it totally was a lot smoother than yesterday's throw. So it just worked out a lot better. I still had the problem of getting it to be tall and wide. And I think that's where I struggle the most is when I get it so wide that I can't control it and I can't keep it in center. So, what I did with this pot is once I got it as tall as I wanted it, I decided to put a belly on it. And my thought was that, well, I can't get it wide enough on the base, but I can widen the outside. So that's kind of what I tried to do. And I don't know about you guys, but I find that when I do put bellies on something, I also can really get it off center really quick. So I always use a sponge to begin with, and then I move to a rib. And I find that as soon as I started using the rib, when I bellied my pieces, whether it be a mug or even this vase, the rib was able, because I was able to hold consistent pressure with that rib with my right hand, I was able to keep everything in center. Everything was still even. Everything was nice and smooth. And it just ended up being a lot nicer curve as well. So that's another tip that I have learned, that when I throw a belly on a piece, I like to use a rib now, just because it seems to make it look nicer. And I also want to mention that when I'm throwing all my videos, they're sped up to 2 times speed. So just keep that in mind because it looks like I'm throwing super fast, but I'm definitely not. Okay, so I am super happy with that. Is it perfect? No. Is that one perfect? No. But these are really big for me. I am not a fan of throwing great big, and I'm pretty impressed that I was able to do that. And I was pretty impressed that I can do it on my wheel. My wheel doesn't like a lot of clay. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'll show you what I do when I turn it, um, like how to flip it. Like I flipped that one, like I should have showed you last night, but I didn't because I forgot. But I will show you later this afternoon how I flip that. But yeah, I'm super happy with that. So after I was done with my plant pots, I cleaned my wheel and all my tools, which I did film, but I kind of thought, well, it's pretty boring to watch, so I did not put it in. Although most of this whole video is kind of repetitive, so yeah. Anyway, I did not film it, but if you have used Plainsman chocolate clay before, you know that it takes forever to clean your stuff because one little speck will make your next color brown. And yeah, I'm using Plainsman 340 for this, so I did not want brown. Now, what I'm throwing, I decided, I had mentioned earlier that I got ritual glazes. Now, I needed some textiles for that. And like I said earlier, also with the bat system I have, sometimes it causes problems. This time, it also caused a problem. I didn't film this, um, but it just was a flop for me to throw my regular textiles. So I thought, why not throw off the hump and get um, 10 or so shot glasses that I can use for the ritual glazes to see how they work and have something that's a little bit more useful than just a regular textile. So yeah, so that's what you're seeing me here do here is make textiles, and it's off the hump. And yeah, I love throwing off the hump because it's great practice and it's fun and it's fast and you can really get a decent amount of things quickly when you throw off the hump. I've never thrown anything large off the hump. It's always been something like my trinket dishes or my sauce dishes, or like these shot glasses. Nothing super large, like mini bud vases. I've done that as well, but I mostly stick to the smaller stuff like shot glasses and trinket dishes. Okay, so I ended up with 10, and then I did do a small vase for a different project that I have, but I'm going to make a video on that later because it's a project for a video. But yeah, I'm going to use those as my test towels for the ritual glazes. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And I possibly will even be able to trim these later today. So we'll see, because it's only about 12 o'clock now. So we will continue on. And yeah, I have some other things to do. I decided I needed to make some kiln cookies. So I will probably take you along and show you how to do that too. But yeah, it is lunchtime. So I have to go and feed my little. And yeah, I'll be back after that. Okay, so kiln cookies are really easy. You just got to roll them out, basically. And then I just use cookie cutters and some slip. Some of them I make raised and some I don't. But mostly I just make it so that they don't stick to my shelf, because I am pretty mindful of where I put my glaze. So it's basically just like an extra layer. So I don't make a ton of them, but I just make enough so that if I do have something that I want to put, yeah. And I don't like to waste because they don't last forever. You can only fire them, I'm going to say like 3-4 times before they start to like pluck the other stuff or the pieces. So I don't like to make a ton, but I definitely like to have them on hand. And I just use my rolling guides. I've talked about these before. I can link them down in the description below if anyone's interested. And I also have to make another bee bath for an order. So this is the clay that I use for that too. So if you had a slab roller, this would be a lot easier. I don't have that. So I just use the good old-fashioned rolling pin. Oops. I don't like to make my kiln cookies very thick either, just because I find that it can be wasteful, and I don't like doing that. So then I just compress. So I'd say that these are maybe like 1/4 of an inch. Probably go a little bit thinner too. Yeah. So anyway, about 1/4 of an inch. So I just have a board. This needs to be washed, but it'll work just fine for now. So just my cookie cutter. Try not to pick them up or bend them all that much, just to help with warping. I don't need that many because, like I said, I don't use them all that often, but I am totally out. The ones that I have are no longer usable because they're starting to like pluck pieces off the bottom of my clay from the finished cups, and I don't like that. Okay, so I have 6. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some little pieces, and raise it up off of here a bit. Now, the only reason I'm going to do that is so that if I do have any really big drips, that it maybe is easier to salvage rather than something that drips and like kind of floods the cookie. So I'm going to give that a try. But yeah, I'm just going to attach these just like you would attach anything else. I'll let these sit for a minute. A little bit like leather hard. So yeah, this is what we have. I'm going to attach this in the middle here so that my cup can sit up a little higher. on top of the cookie. We're going to let these set up for just a little bit, and then I'll um, show you how I'm going to attach them. So while I was letting my kiln cookies firm up a little bit before I attached the raised part, I started working on my bee bath that I had for an order. These bee baths are a really fun little project. They're quick, they're easy, and they're super cute. So if you do want to make one for yourself, I do have a tutorial that's already posted. It's up on my channel now. I can link it in the description below. And yeah, they're really fun to make and they're super simple. And you probably can just freehand it. I used their fondant mold, actually, not a clay mold. They're used for cake decorating, I think. But you could totally freehand it. You could draw your petals, free shape them yourself. You definitely could do that. But yeah, I will leave the link to that tutorial in the description below. And yeah, if you want to make one, you definitely can. They're super simple, super easy, and a really quick, fun project that you also can make with air dry clay. So that's something that you could do with your kids. It's really easy and it's really fun. So then, as soon as I'm done covering my bee bath, I move right into my kiln cookies. And honestly, these are the simplest. You cut them out with a cookie cutter, you score them, and then you put slip on them and you attach them like you do anything else. Yeah, super easy, super simple, and really quick. And they make a great kiln cookie, especially if you're making mugs and stuff like that. Like I said before, my main reason is when I do something that I know is going to be really drippy, I want to have this extra protection. So not only do I keep my kiln cookies intact, but I keep my mug salvageable too. And then I just make sure my connection is really good. And that's basically it. Like, they're super easy. You can definitely throw these on the wheel. I've seen people do that too, but I don't have a bat system that is good. So I can't do that. So then I just cover them like you cover anything else that you have a connection with. And that's that. Super easy. The last thing I needed to do today was flip my large piece. So all I did, I just put another bat on top, flipped it over, and gently pulled it from the top because I did already cut it on the bat when I was throwing it. So again, super simple. Okay, so my weekend definitely got away from me. I did not get as done. It did not get done as much as I would have liked to. I I did manage to throw two very large pots. Um, that's a feat for me because I'm not very good at throwing large. So they may not look large to other people, but they are quite large for me. So I am pretty proud of myself for that. Um, but yeah, this weekend just kind of got away from me. Saturday ended up being a no fun day. And then today I ended up having a visitor, which was great. But then I kind of lost all my motivation to do much of anything else. I did finish the rest of the order because I did have one bee bath. I should have made like 10 more, but I only wanted to make the one. Um, but yeah, I did get some kiln cookies made. Maybe I will. The stuff that I wanted to trim today, because I thought maybe it would dry fast enough, it's not dry. So I did wrap everything up for tomorrow to trim. So maybe um, if tomorrow goes well, because I do have to work tomorrow, if everything goes well and I get done my work early, then maybe I will trim tomorrow and I'll throw this in here. But yeah, if I don't trim, then yeah, that was pretty much my weekend, which is kind of how all my weekends go, unless I plan like making an actual video. Um, but yeah, I had fun filming this. It is a lot of work to film a vlog. My gosh. Props go out to all of you who do this on a regular basis because I mean it's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Um, yeah, I don't know if I will do another one. You guys can let me know if you enjoyed watching me in this type of a scenario. And if you do, I'll try to maybe get better at it because I think there's lots of things that I probably could improve on. But yeah, let me know what you think of this type of video. Want to leave that in the comments. Any tools and stuff that I use, I'll link them in the description below. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought. If you want to see more stuff like this and this type of a scenario where it's just kind of like fly by the seat of my pants with what I'm doing for the weekend, let me know. And if you didn't enjoy that, let me know as well because I'm not going to make another one because they're a lot of work. But yeah, Otherwise, let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next video.